Today I'm going to show you how I set up my stage pole. This is an X Stage Lite, I believe. I'll link it down in the description box below, but in any case, I have a particular method for setting up this stage. I can do it in about 15 minutes or less when I'm really hustling, but I'm going to take you through the process slowly, and here's some things that you're going to need. I have a pair of work gloves. These are actually just winter gloves, but you can use garden gloves, anything like that, just to protect your hands, especially when it gets to the stage pieces. And then you're going to want to make sure that you have your hex key bag. And here's a tip. I always label my hex key bags. I'm not sure if you can see that, but I always label it to go with the pole that I have, since I have multiples. And then you're going to want your rubbing alcohol and a cloth to clean the pole, okay? So to get started, we're going to start with our base piece. I'm going to show you how I take it out too, and kind of how I move around to make sure that I'm not injuring myself. So, excuse me, let's unzip. Get to the end of it, so the heavier part is actually at the top. Get to the end and get into your sumo squat. Lift it up, and then I have it vertical like this. And then again, make sure that you're using your legs. I'm going to lift it up and set it to the side. So that's how I move it, so it's a little bit easier for me. Now let's slide that out of the way. Here's my trick for getting the stage set up. Put it where you want it, and I'm going to divide it in half. So 3 on one side, 3 on the other. And I'm going to put one side down. Actually, let me do this facing you guys, so you can see it a little bit better. 3 on one side, 3 on the other. Divide it in half. Then I'm going to take one and put it all the way down. These two I separate, and now I'm going to bring it down. You're going to see why this is important in just a moment. Let me get this stuff out of the way. Now I'm going to move the last two out to the side. All right, so what you want to do is have it divided evenly into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sections. So it's kind of going to look like a star. There is a piece. Can you zoom in here? Like real close. There's a piece with a bolt on it. That piece does not move. Everything else moves. That one stays the same. So you want to line up your bolt piece on the opposite side with that one. So I'm going to make these even. It's okay to use your foot a little bit to move the pieces. It's not going to hurt it. So these should be totally straight. And then this line should be straight. And okay, this one. This line should be straight. Depending on how elevated your legs are, it'll be kind of hard to move. I'll talk more about that in a different video, but as you can see, I have it about as even as I can make it. Okay? Now we put the gloves on. Otherwise, your hands are going to get torn up. Torn up. Now the fun part begins. Oh, I also usually put on knee pads when I'm doing this, but we already started, so. It's good to have them on. All right. Pick out these super fun triangles and pick one plates. Sometimes they get a little stuck. Perfect. And then what I like to do, you can get over top, is I like to make sure that these are even. So I'm gonna give that a little kick and just make sure it's nice and solid. Then get your next plate. Make sure that it goes underneath. Slide it over. Pull the trigger. It'll settle down in. This is a little wide, so I'm gonna tuck that in. Perfect. And then don't forget to switch up your plates so that you have it opposite X pole blank. X pole, for those of you out there who care, messes me up when I don't do that. All right, now on to the next one. This one I can tell is a little bit too small, so I'm going to go ahead and open it up. You get your equipment, it comes with this cardboard backing. Go ahead and leave it in there. It just makes the whole thing a little bit more stable. The stitching on these, I want to come and give you a close-up. The stitching on this, I wish it was a little heavier because this is very heavy equipment, and the more you're taking these down and setting up, it will start to deteriorate over time. So I recommend pulling from this top piece, not this one, sorry about the AC. This one will start to rip off, but leave the cardboard in there. Once you have the plates in, you want to go around and check that all of them are secure. So I just lift up my foot as I'm going around. And everything's good. Now it's time for the pole. Open up your bag. There is a lot of Velcro in here. Choose your own adventure with that. You want to take out your base piece. Your base piece has that piece at the bottom. I don't know officially what it's called. And as you can see, I've lost some powder coating from where the screws are contacting in the base. So you're going to set that up. I like to do everything. All right, we're going to finish with a voiceover because that AC is just horrible. Next piece you're going to grab is your X joint. And you want to put it with the arrows facing up. So when you pull out that piece, you'll see that there are little arrows for expand and contract. Okay, that's telling you the direction that you need to move. And I always put my X joint in facing arrows up. Make sure that the holes align for your two pieces. Then we're going to put the top piece on. And now you can take your gloves off and we're going to start screwing everything in. So you can leave that top piece like that for now. It won't hurt you or anything like that.
And you're gonna start with the 3 screws at the top of the base. Those need to be screwed all the way in because that is what is locking the pole into place. That's preventing it from coming out of the stage apparatus. So I use the long end of the hex key first, and then I go back and tighten it to make sure that it's fully secure. So I start with the top 3 first. Then you're going to get your hex key and just check the bottom. Mine usually stay fixed, but this is important. The one with the X is to control whether or not you're going from spin to static. So we're gonna leave those alone today, and we're only gonna screw in the other 3, not the ones with the X. This is going to secure the base of your stage pole. And once again, I'm using the long end to do a quick turn. And then I will go back around and use the shorter end and the leverage to finish, okay? So we're gonna go through and we're gonna do the 3 at the bottom that do not have X's on them. Then you're gonna get your largest hex key and we're going to do the X joint at the top. Please make sure that you're inserting your hex key gently because these are a little soft inside, and then you can strip the joint, okay? But I already know which direction I need to go because again, I put my arrows up. And we're gonna do the top and the bottom, give it a couple tugs and go back in just to make sure that it's fully expanded inside of your pole. And then make sure you always put your hex keys back in the bag and zip it up and put it in a secure location. You do not want to lose these. Last step, I'm gonna wipe down my pole using the rubbing alcohol. I spray it onto a cloth and just make sure that it's wiped down. I also like to go around the base just to make sure it's nice and neat, and then that's it. That's how I set up my stage pole. Oh, I'm gonna give it a little tug just to make sure that it's completely secure at the base, making sure that it's not twisting where the X joint is. And now that's it. You're all done. We set up the stage pole.